Hi, Mr. Trevor. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great as well, and super excited to have a conversation with you on the topic we have, the vigilant hiring. So, hiring is a lot of businesses doing it wrong nowadays. I see because there are a lot of small to medium-sized business owners. That's most of my listeners, and obviously until like you have like a HR team set up and things like that, the hiring process it doesn't go like how it should be, and uh, they hire someone and they feel like this is not some person like I want to work with and not give him the ROI or return on investment what making from them. So I'd love to know more about since you're a business coach and you are expert on that topic. So we'll talk on this one. So before that, I'd love to know more about your journey on like a business coach.
You betcha. So I live in northern British Columbia, Canada, and over the years I've just kind of been a little bit of a wanderer through different types of careers. I think I've had 11 different careers, but in the last 15 years, I've spent myself as a general manager of larger companies. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was an immigrant and opened up his own company, and all my brothers and sisters are small and medium-sized business owners. Even one of them is an accountant. They even married accountants. Like it's just turned into this little business family. So as a manager, I kept getting asked for lunch because people were looking for advice. They were wondering what I was doing differently. So it used to be this running joke that if you wanted to have something out of my brain, it cost you a lunch. And so I decided to put this to good use. I went and became certified with the PVCA Canada
Mm.
and became a professional business coach. With my experience, they accepted me. And From there, COVID hit, and that changed everything. And now we do lots of this Zoom stuff and all of this other stuff, and it's worked out really, really well for me. I get to work from home, so that's kind of my journey. I've been a financial advisor. I've been a manager of a company up to 27 people. I've helped people hire up to 50 people. My sister actually is one of my best successes. She changed her process um, to create a hiring process that is super successful. It just works really well, and that's and then everybody complaining about agile hiring or hiring and it being such a pain, and it's so hard to hire good people. It's so hard to keep good people. um that's what I really get into
Yeah.
with agile hiring.
Yeah, that's great. Like you had a great experience in a different kind of business world and different kind of career path you had chose. So yeah, with your experience, like you've been working with a lot of businesses yourself, small to medium-sized business owners, like you said, even though you have like some of them family members. What is the best way, we go about like hiring? Like, what is the starting point of hiring? Like you would say.
Understanding what we don't know is kind of really where we really need to start. And a lot of small and medium business owners, they didn't intend to be a business owner. They started out their career as something else. I'm an IT guy. I'm a plumber. I'm a, biologist. I'm a pharmacist. I'm something else. And then they became, oh, I'm going to go out on my own, or I'm going to get a retail spot, or I'm going to get something. And then they became a business owner. They all have these gaps in their knowledge, and HR is one of these fabulous gaps that I find in and understanding that we have a gap, that there's this huge blind spot and that we don't understand what it is. And then the starting point for them is to go, who do I really need? What is that person? If I could wave a magic wand and wish for the perfect employee, what would they be? We
Yeah.
don't even think about that. Before we just like, oh my god, I need somebody. I've got a hole in my roster. I don't have enough employees. I need somebody, and then they throw the job ad out. They don't even know, oh, what is this person like? What exactly are their behaviors or their skills that I'm looking for? And so knowing that you have that knowledge gap, and then you start with, let's wave the magic wand and let's figure out who that perfect employee is.
Yeah, so you have to define first of all like what you're looking for and like who you want, and then you just go out and like look for the person you want to work with. And you are totally right. Like as a small business owner, the medium-sized business owner, there is always a need of someone, and we always like to bargain with the kind of talent we're looking for. Like we always want someone's cheapest, and so someone gonna do that like twice a job like someone else with the experience, and we want some cheapest as well. So and we don't really care about like as a long-term vision, like do that person gonna stick around with me for a long time, is it bring any value, am I gonna get great return on investment in 5-10 years time. So with that keeping in your mind, like small businesses or medium-sized businesses, they have the budget is very very low. So let's say if someone is experienced in IT, like let's say average salary is $80,000 a year, and the business probably can afford $40,000 a year. So how they can hire someone with the like a half of the amount and same time
Yeah.
like get the great talent, and that goes like a main problem I'll see like talking to after so many small to medium-sized business owners.
You have to sell the dream.
Yeah,
And what I mean by this is the dream that you have as a business owner to somebody that would grow with you. And that would be the biggest thing. And this is where I get into values. If you haven't done a mission, vision, value statement and create what your company really stands for, you really don't know, again, with alignment of somebody. If you believe that integrity is important or value, certain values are important, you need to put those in your job advertisement. And if you put those in and somebody says, we're outgoing, we're fun, we're trailblazers, we're making something great. If you want to be part of something great, and that's really going to stir the person reading that job advertisement to think, I really want to work for this company because I think the same way they think, the alignment is the same. And when the alignment is the same, everything is much easier
yeah,
because they believe what you believe and you have this common mission, and they've bought into the dream, really. And so that's a big part of it, is to understand what your culture and what your values are in your company.
yeah. So making them align and have like a vision on the future where you're heading, right, rather than like where you are at the moment. So then probably you can get someone negotiating rather than 80,000, probably 45, $50,000. And you can give them like a lot of opportunity in future. Like if they're doing the job really well, they get promotion. There is a probably stake in the company, things like that, right?
Well, there's lots more to that, right? Because if they believe in what you believe, they're willing to work for less. Money, for a lot of people, money is a secondary. Money is a result of something. We work because we want to eat, right? We
Yeah.
don't really want to work. We'd rather sit on a beach, right? So, but if we're going to work and we're going to collect a salary and we live in a lifestyle that we can afford a $40,000 lifestyle, we might work for you for less because we believe in what you believe in. We think that we're part of something special. And that's that culture thing. So your mission, your vision, and your values, they drive your culture. That's what your company is going to believe in. And when you're spending as much time with your coworkers as you are, having some sort of alignment is important. So mission, vision, value drives your culture, and then your culture drives your brand, and then they believe in the brand that you've created
Yeah.
because everybody's on the same page.
Yeah,
And
that
that's and
totally
that's the
makes sense
biggest
on
thing.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's supposed to be like all small business owners like a goal should be like. Not many people are like a great at storytelling. Like I do marketing work, so a lot of them like they don't know like why the business started, and they don't know like where they're heading to and what the future looks like. So forget about like a hiring side, that gets more complicated. But even though they're looking for a new clients and things like that, they don't know like someone should believe in their product or services, where they're coming from and where they're heading to and what the benefits are. So that's a great example like you have given like what they look for. So after like let's say uh we found to figure out who to work with and why, and after that we put the advertisement on, and probably let's say 10-15 people are applied for the uh job. how do you select someone, or like what kind of question do you need to ask in terms of like finding out like what are you actually looking for? Do you have any kind of formula, or like anyone just ask any questions?
No. There's a really specific formula to that. Let's go back just one step though. Like when we've wrote that resume, or sorry, wrote the job ad.
Yeah.
And if we included our mission, vision, value in our job ad, and we included the behaviors that we're looking for in our job ad, I've created these so successful, these job ads that specifically target a certain type of person. And we, if we go back to a Myers-Briggs, or even we go all the way back to Hippocrates, we believe that there's 4 different types of personalities in our world. We have the analytical style, the really logical people. They make great bookkeepers. They're very detail oriented. We have demanding, results oriented people. They're the D style. We have the steady, caring people, the nurses of the world, and those are an S style. And then we have the I style, the charismatic, spontaneous type people. So we can write a job ad that says, okay, this is the type of person I want, and these are the behaviors I'm looking for. It actually, when you get those 10 resumes already align and resonate with your story and what you do, because you put that in the job ad. People that don't believe in that will not apply. Then we go into that interview, and the interview is a crazy important part of the puzzle. You need to know how to ask good questions, and you need to take your time in this, because this is where the red flags come up. This is where the I'm perfect, you're perfect comes in. We tend to lie at each other a little bit right at the beginning. Your resume or your job ad tells a story, and hopefully it's a super truthful story. And then the resumes you get tell a different story, and hopefully they're a super truthful story. But a lot of the times it's fluffery. Right now you've got people that are, they have AIs writing resumes for you. Here are my skill sets, write me a fantastic resume. So now more important with the use of AI is that we need to create a really good interview process. And yes, there's some really specific questions. I actually have a document, I think there's at least 150 different styles of questions, and understanding why we ask a question. One of the questions I ask when I've done interviews before, how many tennis balls can you fit in a limousine? And usually I preface that question with, in our line of work, in the job that you're going to be doing, we value creativity. So from that point, I want you to think about this question. How many balls can you fit in a standard size limousine?
Right.
And I've had people go, I don't know. Obviously, that's a red flag. I said to you, I desire creativity for your position. How many and I've had people take out the calculator, and I've had people work it out. I don't know how many tennis balls go into the limousine, but it's just the act and how you answer the question. How do you derive an answer, especially if you, or a problem solving?
Yeah.
How do you deal problem solving? If you're an IT guy and you have to problem solve, and you can't sort of think about how many tennis balls can be in a limousine, then obviously you're not the right guy for me, because I need creative thinking and I need problem solving. So sometimes ask how we answer the questions, and sometimes the questions seem very silly, but they have a reason. It's usually not, sometimes it's not the answer we're looking for, it's how you came up with the answer that we're looking for when we're doing an interview. So the interview process is really, really crucial. And it's kind of the first phase of the relationship. Hiring somebody's a lot like dating. And if you're a terrible dater, and one of the things that I go on lately is, would you, if you had a traditional job ad with skills and responsibilities, would you attract a mate? Probably not.
No.
I want somebody that cleans the dishes and does this and does that, and hopefully we have the prospect of having children, and then these are going to be your responsibilities. No, that's not how we do it. We connect with people on a deeper level. We want them to vibe with us. We're looking for soulmates. No different than hiring somebody. We're looking for a culture, the vibe that we can relate with. And that soulmate is that perfect employee. It's so hiring's a lot like dating, and if you think about it that way, it actually will improve your hiring process. Because how do you want that interview to go? You want it to go like a great first date. I've
Definitely.
had business owners show up in ripped shirts and their hair's a mess. I'm like, dude, this is a first date. Why? Well, we're trying to make good impressions here. So if you think about an interview like that, it changes the whole dynamic right away.
Yeah, that totally makes sense on that. Like you have to be like a both-sided. Like if someone wanna believe in your like a company, who you are, then you have to show off uh, as a like a leader, and you have to like prove them like you care about the organization, you care about like the process. And let's say like someone got that job and you hired someone, how do you evaluate if the person is the right for me? Like obviously going through like a resume, going through the interview process, until someone actually doing that job for you, you wouldn't know how things are like you mentioned, like a dating process. Until you go for like a few dates, first date, everyone impression is really great. You are in a best shirt, best clothing, you're wearing a proper nice perfume. But eventually, like after like a month or two, you're gonna realize, this person is the right for me or not for me. So same with
Ex-
businesses. That's why they give like 90 days of like probation period, like
Yep.
before you give you the permanent job. So during that probation period, like what you actually look for as a company.
So you've just hit the nail on the head. There's actually 4 phases to hiring somebody before they become a permanent employee.
Mm,
That I'm perfect, you're perfect phase. So you've sold your company, and like you've said, hopefully you've promoted it in a truthful. You didn't just put your best face forward, you didn't put your best shirt on, and really in the background it's all crazy and chaos. Hopefully you've got that part figured out and that you've represented yourself correctly. Now, has your new hire done the same thing? And so you go through, it's 1 to 3 months, and we call that the perfect phase. I'm perfect, you're perfect.
yeah,
Oh yeah, we belong together. We're going to be the greatest team in the world. But then, like you said, that after that 30 days to 90 days, we start to see the changes happen. And so creating a clear career path, a clear onboarding process where in the first 2 weeks, this is what's going to happen. In the first month, this is where I want you to be. I'm expecting you by the 5th month or the 6th month to be at this level. And at the 9th month to be at this level, and at the 1-year level to be at this level. When you've created that, and that's part of your hiring process. So yes, you've made a job offer, they've said yes, but the job offer would have this piece of paper attached to it that says, these are your expectations. Is there any concerns? And that would be one of the things that you do on the first couple days. They're going to go in, they're going to work on the paperwork, they're going to go through the process of onboarding, like from a legal and corporate standpoint. But then what's going to happen is you're going to have that other piece of paper that says, okay, this is the expectation. And is there any questions with that? Is there a problem with that? And if they say nope, there's no problem with that. So then you've already set it up in advance. You've already said at 2 weeks I want you to be here. So you're going to check out with them at 2 weeks and say, are we here? And they're going to go yes or no. And then at 1 month, are we here? Yes or no. And you have a decision to make every time you've asked that question. One, is this the right person for me? Do they need more training? Or are they just not a good fit?
yeah,
And one of the biggest concerns I see is people hold on too long to the wrong people. They're just not getting it. You will know. So let's talk about the 4 phases then. So we have that perfect phase. I'm perfect, you're perfect. Then we find the next phase, it's called a fault phase. It's where those little things that they've over exaggerated their resume a little bit. They don't quite have all the skills. They're not as proficient in what they said that they are. And this is the kind of the imperfect phase, the fault phase, perfect phase, imperfect phase. They've fluffed up the resume. Then we get to the third stage, which is the fault phase. The fault phase is all about you found all their faults. They don't show up for work on Monday on time, ever. You know, can I live with that? Because in that document, you said you must show up on time every day. You know, can we live with the fact that they're, you know, or maybe they're absent once a month on a regular basis, and this affects our business somehow. So we've gone through that imperfect phase, and we found out all the flaws. They've also found all your flaws. Maybe your cash flows has an issue, and sometimes their paycheck shows up a little bit late. Maybe you don't have the technology in the back end to support an IT guy in the front end, and you didn't say that up front. Maybe you're struggling or bootstrapping the company, and so now all the faults have come out. So there's a 6 to 9 months where we go, I can accept your faults, you can accept my faults. And then it's not till the 9th to the 12th month that we actually go through that commitment phase where I'm committed to you because I believe that you're going to be a good fit long term, and vice versa. I've committed to you, you've committed to me, and that's the commitment phase. This process, this commitment phase, on the shortest side is 7 months long. On the longest side, 12 to 16 months long. It's a process, like, and that's, so to go through all these faults, some people are really good at hiding their faults, so that perfect phase lasts a little longer, that imperfect phase lasts a little, it takes you a little longer to create to find those red flags, just like dating.
It's an individual
just like
thing.
dating.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know that you have a crazy mother-in-law in the back room until like much further down the road, and that's the same. Maybe you have a manager that has some terrible habits, and they don't see that until further down the road because that manager wasn't part of the hiring process.
Yeah, that totally makes sense on that. So yeah, Trevor, it's a great conversation with you. We're coming to the end of this podcast. We learned a few things about hiring. So yeah, I learned myself as well. So thanks for sharing that. Those who's listening, if anyone wants to learn more about your business, your coaching programs, where's the best place to find it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Agile Hiring, AGILE hiring, .ca, agilehiring.ca is an entry point into if you need a process. And I have a free program there where you get my you get my sheet for the ideal client, you get my free questions, you get all of the kind of steps of the process. So if you're just somebody that needs a starting point, agilehiring.ca. My company's called Peaks and Valleys Strategic Business Development, and so PVSBD, and you can go to my website, pvsbd.ca, and or it's on every social. I am everywhere. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, hit me up on LinkedIn. It's PVSBD or Peaks and Valleys Strategic Business Development. And I have some live events there, and I have a pretty active social media.
It's great. Thank you so much for your time today. So we wish you best of luck with your business, your personal life, and thanks for coming today.
As with you, I hope you all the successes in the world.
Thank you so much. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. Hope you enjoyed our conversation. Anyone wants to learn more about Trevor and his business, go visit his website, and you can get like a free courses as well. You can take a part of as well. Until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care.